It's March 15th, 2013, and I'm going to give you a little tour of my yard. This is the camellia bush. It's been in bloom for a few weeks now. It's doing quite nicely. This is a winter honeysuckle, sweet breath of spring. And it's been in bloom since the end of December. Pretty much finishing up. It smells very good. It smells like a honeysuckle. Kind of a windy day to be doing this. You're probably going to get a lot of wind noise, but the sun's not too bright. And I think you can see that I've got a field of daffodils across the front of my house. There were a lot of daffodils here when we bought the house in 1965, and I divided them a lot, and then I've planted a lot. These are the earliest. I think they're called February Gold. And these are the ones that we had the most of when we bought the house. There's some pink ones that have just started. I just planted those a couple of years ago. Brex had a collection with quite a few variety of pink ones, and I'd never heard of pink ones before. So I got a few of each kind. But most of what's out here are these February Gold and some doubles. I'll show you the doubles in a minute when I find some. There's a nice bunch here. They've opened really well this year. Some years, when they first come out of the ground, they've got a brown skin on them. And some years, that skin doesn't come off and they don't open. But this year the skins come off all of them, so I think they're going to be really pretty. They've been pretty already. A couple of years ago when I divided them, I planted some on the other side of the driveway. And they've been doing pretty well out there. I think they get good sun. Kind of off there in the woods. I planted them out to the road, but they don't do well at the end out there. They don't get enough sun back there. There's a pretty bunch. There's a double just lying on the ground. It must have gotten stepped on, probably by me. hard to walk out here without stepping on daffodils. There's some in the woods. I didn't plant the ones in the woods. They do reproduce by seed, and the birds carry them. It's a nice collection there. So most of them are out here in the front. That one's a little different. Got white. It's white with a yellow center. Most of the others are all yellow. That's a star magnolia tree. I don't think you can see that very well. It hasn't been as pretty as usual this year. We had a lot of nights in the 20s which were good for the daffodils but not for the tree. This is a pretty little one called Tete-a-Tete. I think I got that from Breck's. Fairly recent planting. These white ones are called ice follies. When they open, the centers are yellow and they turn white as they age. They're one of the first ones to open. So those are about on their way out. This is an old-fashioned hyacinth. A friend of mine gave it to me. It was his great-grandmother's. And there are some more of them. Oh, I would say that the deer ate them. That's a pretty little hyacinth. And this is an old-fashioned double. I think it's called Butter and Eggs. Oh, these are just opening, I think. Got one daffodil out here in my iris bed. And I don't know where that came from. I didn't put it there. These are some little ones. The wind's really taking them today. And some great big ones. And another old-fashioned double. I have a small fence here to protect my tulip magnolia tree, which has 2 blossoms on it. The deer eat the buds and they eat the blossoms, but they don't eat the leaves. And there are 2 more buds. I don't know whether you can see them down there or not, but they're going to have 2 more blossoms. I don't know whether you can see the daffodils out in the woods here or not. I planted those. We used to have a compost pile out there. And I liked having the daffodils on my way to the compost pile. I remember planting these in here a few years ago because when I went to dig one of the holes, I hit a nest of yellow jackets. Fortunately, I only got about 2 bites, so I got out of there pretty fast. This is a nice little planting here. Back in here, we've put, this used to be the vegetable garden, and we put the quince and a bunch of peonies, and I put some irises and a few daffodils in there. It's going to take a few years, I think, for that to get pretty, but it should be really nice. This bunch here is just starting to open. Fairly big one. And the earliest to open have already started shriveling. There's this really pretty one, very pale. And then we have a bunch of these that are lying on the ground face down. And I think I'm going to just have to come out and pick those. They're too pretty to lie down like that. These are not the old-fashioned doubles. These are some that I got from White Flower Farms. This White Flower Farms Southern Collection that does very well down here. These are from Breck's. This is Breck's pink daffodils. That looks like a different kind. And I planted some out here on the edge of the woods, but they don't get enough sun. They don't do very well out there. That's past the garage here.